want to first thank the mayor of Santa Barbara for coming here and speaking. I think that's a wonderful thing to do. It's wonderful to see you here, so thank you on behalf of the whole community. So I'm here with a couple of short words, and very happily so. On July the 6th, 1935, a magnificent human being came into existence on this earthly plane. And we all know him as the Dalai Lama. And we all know him as Tenzin Gyatso. That's what he loves to be called. I think that it's overwhelming to speak about it, especially in public. I can do it in my mind, I can do it in front of a mirror for hours and hours, but when I look at all of you, I get a little nervous, you know, I get a little light in the knees. I guess I'll talk about personal experience because this is what I know about the man. I know that he works tirelessly in this world to promote the values of peace, specifically peace through inner peace. This is what I have learned from this man, that peace comes from within. And this is a profound and glorious message, because when we wake up to his message of peace through inner peace, we somehow become liberated. We feel lighter as human beings. The other message that I have learned well from him is the message of interfaith. And that is my favorite message, because never have I heard it being delivered in such a profound way as the way the Dalai Lama delivers it. He seems to be able to just light up an audience, light up religious leaders from all different walks of life, from Islam, from Judaism, from Zen Buddhism. Evangelical leaders I have seen literally come to tears. Hardened evangelical leaders that believe in what they believe in, bless them all, come to tears when the Dalai Lama walks into a room and talks about interfaith, how important it is for all of us to understand this respect that we should have for one another. That a belief is simply that, it's a point of view, and that everybody has one and everybody is entitled to one in this world. In September 2004, I was sitting in my hometown. It was at the Museum of Modern Art in Santurce, Puerto Rico. And for those of you that don't know Puerto Rico, it's a tiny little pebble in the Caribbean Sea, 100 miles long by 38 miles wide. And what strikes me there is the similarity in the number of people. The population in Puerto Rico now is close to 5 million, if I'm not mistaken. That's about the population of the Tibetans around the world. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's a few 100,000 more or less. But as I was sitting in this museum with 9 of the most amazing spiritual leaders, and they included the Cardinal of the Catholic Church, the evangelical leader, once again, a very hardened man, you know, a very fundamentalist man, a Zen Buddhist nun, a rabbi, an imam. To see His Holiness sitting there at this long table with all of these men and women that represented the distinct and beautiful shades of religion on my island, it brought everybody in the audience to tears. 300 people. Crying tears of joy to hear this man finally speak the words that we all so much need in our hearts. And that is that we all need to love and respect each other's opinions and points of view. And I think that if we learn nothing else in this world but that we will be able to liberate ourselves as human beings. And I guess that's the journey. At least that's the journey for me. So having said that, this moment where the Dalai Lama turned 79 years old today, like I said, it makes me shake. I'm nervous. I just think about it and I think, okay, what's next? You know, I'm an Aries type. I'm a ram. I'm always, you know, with the head down and I never look where I go. I just sort of plow through things and then figure it out later once I'm there. It doesn't work well, but sometimes it can work a little bit. So I think, okay, what's next? I think that what's next is, for me, is to bring this whole concept of Tibetan autonomy, freedom, if you will, more to light, that each and every one of us works harder each and every single day to promote this ideal that, hey, you know, we had July the 4th 2 days ago. 2 days ago, we celebrated the most amazing and momentous occasion of independence in one of the greatest democracies in the entire world. A great culture and a great people. 2 days later, we're reminded that there's so many people in this world that are still being murdered and persecuted and tortured for peaceful and loving beliefs. Not because they're separatists or because they're terrorists, simply because they're loving and beautiful and peaceful people. So I say, what do? Well, we keep working towards this freedom that we all want within ourselves, that peace through inner peace, and promote those values, and try as well as we can to liberate these people that I love so much, you know. China, oh boy, that's a big term. I don't even want to go to China, but we all understand and we all really know. So to tap this all off, in about a month and a half, and I hope that all of you will participate and tell all your friends and families about this. There will be these wonderful monks who are right now around the country doing these sand mandalas. They were just here in Santa Barbara at Sacred Space. Well, it so happens that I believe the Museum of Ventura, which is downtown Ventura, is going to open their doors to these monks for the very first time. And mind you, this is a local museum. This is a museum that doesn't go any further than not Santa Barbara, but Ventura County to search out for artists and exhibits. And now they're going to go as far as Tibet. So they will open their doors, and for 5 or 6 days, every single day, the monks will be there doing this most amazing sand mandala. And people of all walks of life will be able to walk in there and enrich themselves a little more culturally with what these amazing and profound artists do create in this world. Last but not least, we've all read hundreds, thousands of books on Tibet. I'm sure that if I talk to each and every one of you, there's literally hundreds of books that we've read. I'm sure that many have read this book. But those of you that have not read this book, it's called In Exile from the Land of Snows. And it was written by John E. Avedon. I read this book 14 years ago. And this book really does explain the plight. And I underlined that word 3 times, the plight of the Tibetan people. There are chapters in here that took me a month to read. And I'm a really quick reader. I love to read. It's painful at times inside here, what the truth really is. And I think it's important not to lose sight of that truth, because what happened in the 50s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, is happening at this very split second. Today, July the 6th, 2014. Thank you. Thanks for being here and for believing in this. I say, namaste.